Morning. So, welcome for the fifth class on interference of light. So, in the last class, fourth session, we have discussed about Newton rings. So, from the theory of Newton's rings, we have deduced the formula for the wavelength of the monochromatic light used in the experiment. It is given by lambda equals dm square minus dp square divided by 4r into m minus p. Similarly, Newton's rings for the transmitted light can be discussed, but it is not there in the syllabus. You can leave this part in the notes shared to you in the group, WhatsApp group. And these are extra points, important points. In the case of reflected light, the central ring is always dark, whereas in the case of transmitted light, the central ring is always bright. There is a difference. And second point, Newton's rings or fringes are localized in the film. Third point, in the transmitted system, the amplitudes of the interfering rays are not equal. One passes through the film and the other is reflected twice internally. Therefore, the transmitted rings are far less distinct than those formed by reflected light. And the fourth point, in the reflected system, the amplitudes of the interfering rays are almost equal and minima are completely dark. That means all bright fringes will have same intensity and dark fringes are equally dark. Fifth point, Newton's rings get closer away from the center. And sixth one, if a mirror is used instead of glass plate below the lens, the reflected and the transmitted systems overlap and no rings are formed. Seventh point, if a liquid whose refractive index lies between the refractive index of crown glass and flint glass is introduced between the glass plate and the convex lens, the center appears bright instead of dark. And lastly, experimental arrangement for obtaining Newton's rings. So this experimental arrangement you are performing in the lab. This is the arrangement shown in the figure. Experimental arrangement for obtaining Newton's rings. So you will have a monochromatic source of light. In the figure, S is a monochromatic source of light. Usually sodium vapor lamp is used, and light from sodium vapor lamp is passed through a narrow slit, and then from the slit the light is made to pass through a condensing lens L. If S is at the principal focus of the lens L, the rays are rendered parallel after refraction through the lens. You can see the parallel beam here, and this parallel beam of incident monochromatic light is made to fall on a glass plate G, which is inclined at 45 degree to the incident rays. Therefore, after reflection, they are turned by 90 degree and they fall normally on Newton's rings apparatus. So Newton's rings apparatus means you will have a glass plate, and above the glass plate, a plano convex lens is placed as shown in the figure. And these rays fall normally on the plane surface of the plano convex lens, gets refracted through the lens and passes through the air film, gets reflected by the bottom glass plate. Thus, along each ray, you will have two reflected beams, two reflected rays. They pass through the glass plate undergoing refraction and then emerges along the normal, and with the help of a traveling microscope you can focus for the images, you can focus for the interference fringes, and you will see a number of concentric rings consisting of alternate dark and bright rings. The central ring will be a dark ring because the thickness of the air film at the point of contact between the convex lens and the plane glass plate, since it is zero, the central bright fringe is dark. And around that you will see a number of alternate bright and dark rings. That's how Newton's rings can be observed with the help of this arrangement. Now let us come to the experimental part. I'll read out this explanation part. The principle of Newton's rings is based upon the interference of light by multiple reflection in thin films. The experimental arrangement for obtaining Newton's rings is as shown in the above figure 2.21. Newton's rings apparatus consists of an optically plane glass plate and a plano-convex lens of about 1 meter focal length, placed in a box having an optically plane glass plate inclined at an angle of 45 degrees. Monochromatic light from an extended source, for example, sodium vapor lamp, S, is rendered parallel by a convex lens L. It falls on the glass plate G, inclined at an angle of 45 degrees to the incident beam, and is normally reflected on a plano-convex lens placed on a glass plate P, as shown in the figure. And this is a theory. The wavelength of light can be calculated using this formula: dm square minus dp square divided by 4r into m minus p, where r is the radius of curvature of the surface of the plano-convex lens, which is in contact with the glass plate, and dm and dp are the diameters of the mth and pth dark or bright rings. You can take the readings for dark rings or for bright rings. What is the procedure? Procedure of the experiment is this. The microscope table is leveled and the microscope tube is set in a vertical position. The surface of the plate P, the plano-convex lens, and the glass plate, they are cleaned. The arrangement is then placed in front of a sodium lamp so that the height of the center of the glass plate G and the same as that of the center of the sodium lamp. The convex lens is placed in between. Convex lens is placed in between the source and the Newton's rings apparatus, and its position is adjusted so that a parallel beam of light is made to fall on the glass plate G, inclined at an angle of 45 degrees. The position of the microscope is so adjusted that it lies vertically above the center of the plano-convex lens. The microscope is focused properly so that alternate dark and bright rings are clearly visible. The center of the ring system is brought to the middle of the field of view by working on a horizontal screw of the microscope. That means you have to adjust the trolley microscope such that the cross wire, center of the cross wire will be at the center of the Newton's rings. And then slide the microscope to the left till the cross wire lies tangentially at the center of the 10th bright ring or dark ring. The reading of the microscope is noted. Similarly, the readings of the microscope are noted for 9th, 8th, etc. and first bright or dark rings respectively, which is as shown in the figure. First, you should take the reading on the left side and on the right side for all the fringes starting from 10th ring to first ring, left side, and then first to 10th ring on the right side. So the microscope is moved to the right and the readings are noted for first, second, etc. and 10th bright or dark rings respectively. The radius of curvature of the plano-convex lens is determined using a spirometer. Look at this figure. Using spirometer, you can find the radius of curvature of the convex surface of the plano-convex lens, and this is how dm square minus dp square can be calculated. 10th fringe, 9th fringe, 8th, 7th, 6th, etc. up to first. Left side reading, right side reading, take the difference. L minus R gives you the diameter of the ring. 10th ring, 9th ring, etc. like that. And then square the term. dm square in meter square dp square in meter. Then take dm square minus dp square. So 10 minus 5, 9 minus 4, you will get m minus p is equal to 5 according to this tabular column. Take mean value of dm square minus dp square. So least count of the microscope, traveling microscope, value of each division on the main scale, divide by total number of divisions on the vernier scale. That gives you least count of the microscope. And in this experiment, m minus p is 5. Knowing the values of dm square minus dp square, m minus p, and also radius of curvature of the plane of convex lens, the wavelength of monochromatic light can be determined. So in the lab, you are doing the reverse way of this experiment. So we will determine the radius of curvature of the plane of convex lens, knowing the wavelength of the monochromatic light used in the experiment. That is R equals dm square minus dp square divided by 4 lambda into m minus p. There is a formula you are using. And what are the applications of Newton's rings? It can be used to find the radius of curvature of the lens. And also you can determine the wavelength of light. It can also be used to find the wavelength of light, knowing the radius of curvature. It can be used to find the refractive index of the liquid. So instead of air, if you have some liquid, even we can determine the refractive index of that liquid. So in the formula, it becomes lambda will be equal to, this is a formula. Directly you can think of the formula. Refractive index n will be dm square in air minus dp square in air divided by dm square in liquid minus dp square in liquid. So using this formula, we can even determine the refractive index of the liquid, which is filled between the glass plate and the plane of convex lens. But this theory part is not there. Even the experiment to determine refractive index is not there. So just for extra knowledge, you can go through this part. And Newton's rings with white light. So instead of monochromatic light, if you use white light, you will see the colored rings. There will be overlapping of the rings of different colors over each other. There's only first few rings will be clear, while other rings cannot be viewed. And what are the applications of interference phenomenon? Lastly, applications of interference phenomenon. It can be used to test the lens surface. It can be used to test the surface finish. We can find the thickness of a thin film. The phenomenon of interference is used in anti-reflection coating, used in multi-layer anti-reflection coatings, used in dielectric mirrors, used in interference filters. Lot more applications are there. You can list out some important applications of interference phenomena. So this complete the content of the lesson. Only numericals are to be worked out. So numerical problems will be solved in the next session. This completes the portion for your class. That is 4 SEM physics. Thank you. One more class I will take to work out numerical problems on interference of light. Some 8 to 10 problems I am going to work out. Problem will be there in one slide and working part will be shown in the other slide, and 8 to 10 important problems I am going to work out in the next class. Thank you.